Hi, hello, and welcome to the Spiritual Consularship brought to you by Vertex of Abundance. My name is Serene, Priestess of Blessing. I'll be your oracle today. I was sent to deliberate the findings for an open reading. We're going to check in with the Venus energy, whether it's the spirit of Venus, Freya, Hera, Chamba, Oshun, or if it's just Venusian type archetypes. The difference between the moon and Venus, the main difference is the moon is emotions, Venus is feelings. Feelings happen after the facts. Feelings are less of an instinct, more of a sensory process. If you're new, welcome. If you are returning, welcome back. We're going to lay 4 cards from the major arcana of the Thoth Tarot. Normally, I just open up the gate, and I'm being called to do that, so I will do that. You know, what I'm getting is that everything is happening according to schedule. We have the moon, or excuse me, Phantom, Miss Guzzi, the magician, the moon, hangman, temperance. The magician called the magus in this deck, moon, hangman, art, which is the temperance card. So this is giving me this energy of well, the moon and the magician could be some type of working. And this is a little bit of external energy, where how these are positioned on the outside. On the inside, it's more like inside the house. It could be us versus them, higher self, lower self, you know, present self, future self, present self, former self. Take it as it resonates. Also, the energy, the way the energy flows will paint a better picture. Right now, we have cursory findings. There needs to be a little bit more data to have a conclusive finding. So I said there might be some kind of working here or some manifestation. Could the moon could just be latency, meaning there's a void and it's being impressed upon. Things need to kind of congeal and manifest. And I'm saying a void, meaning an empty space, not a void as in the abyssal void, this kind of pre-chaos place. Now, these 2 cards together, Hangman and the Temperance, that actually means losing patience. So something's really not going to continue much longer. Now, these 2 cards can talk about, which is the moon and the Tempest card, that talks about safe shifting, oftentimes cloaking in another person's energy, some kind of spirit acting within a veil. I'm hearing the word entrenchment, which is not as it seems. Entrapment is what I was trying to say. Which is something trying to simulate our own energy structure so it could come, or signature, so it can come in later and either mimic or it could appear as us later on. It's almost like installing a spy, some kind of monitoring system as well. And honestly, what I'm getting is that some kind of loop is either beginning again or is fading out, losing its kind of power. Because I have been noticing, like, as a collective, we're doing all these things, which means we're stepping into the new, whether it's a glow up, a boss up, a handle up, a G up, a level up, some kind of man up, woman up, whatever, what have you. Take it as it resonates, of course. And then we are expertly finding our skill, our craft, our ability, mainly a talent. It can be a gift with the, I almost said high priestess, but this is the hangman. And you know, it's 1 + 2 is 12. So it's the magician and the high priestess together is the collective subconscious. So there's a cycle ending, and it's a spiritual cycle, something that's kind of unseen. It may even be in the higher realm. Because what we've already done in the past is we've kind of found our intellect, reason, and communication, our intellect, our will, our intention. It could have been we found our skill, our craft, our ability, our talent. And there's something there either behind the scenes or passive, or it could also be that, previously we were in some kind of energy, entity, ideology, some enemy, even space of there was something that had an advantage because we had a simple perception. While this other energy, or other side, other realm, place, time, space, dimension, whatever, what have you, had the perspective and we had the perception. So we were at a disadvantage because we were kindergarten, first grade, and they were kind of like, you know, high school, college area, just in terms of energetic mastery. Because this is a word for verification as well. And so if you take this future self, past self, future self, whatever, what have you, however it resonates, this would be the unawakened awakening. And then this would be the spiritually perfected side. There's another take here where we were playing checkers while they were playing chess. And that's only if there was a day, because not always forever is it going to be there. Sometimes a person isn't on this universal calling, and the calling on them is to help their family or their bloodline or their lineage. They may be the bearer of just breaking a generational curse. Some of us, however, are on a chosen path. Some of us are. So if God loves us, the devil definitely loves us, because that's the primordial battle. It's not in the flesh, it's in the spirit. And the thing about falling into the dark, you have to intentionally go. You can get in there just a little tiny bit by accident, but there's a very specific point where it's no longer by accident, and that's when things become irretrievable, at least in this incarnational cycle. So having done all of that, let's just open up the gate, move on, carry on, go along. Oops, excuse me, pardon me, I bumped the camera there. I'm pretty certain that I did. So we're just going to open up Venus gate number 11, which is the heaven door. Now, the thing about Venus energy is she's the goddess of the material experience. So basically, she helps people that are getting to the frequency, energy, vibration of heart-centered being, because then we can go into becoming spiritually ascended. So let's descend into matter here, see what we got going on. We're going to query the collective subconscious and see what this is. So I'm hearing something about the Hawthorne Mysteries. You can just look that up. That is the book. There's a chant, a tone, El Kalim Om. I'm hearing that very, very specifically right now. Forgot to grease the wheel and make it a little turbulent here. Give me a moment. Just making sure the space is clean. At this gate, this is kind of like the front of the war. If a being can get you out of your heart, that's really kind of like, not checkmate, but you become severely hindered. And this is what spiritual counsel is, where you're normally getting a direct message. It's more of an open reading. Usually I use spiritual counsel in a session to answer a direct question, yes or no, not to give the lay of the land, which we call landscape. We're doing actually a portrait. Okay, so we got the gate open. Queen of Cups is where we're at right now, which means there's been some kind of opening of the heart. We may also be this vessel for the divine Queen of Cups specifically, and we may be needing, with the Five of Cups there, to break up or to disperse or to grieve. We may still be in the mourning stage, but again, we have this, remember I was saying magician and the Temperance card. So that's reaching spiritual perfection. We might be on the way to getting our wings, and that might mean different sorts for different folks. Okay, yeah. So there is something at the gate. Something keeps trying to come in. It's called an incursion. And then with the seven of swords, it may also be an intrusion. Something wants to look like it's carrying our energetic signature, or it needs a scent from us in some kind of way, shape, form, or another, but it keeps backfiring. They're left at the threshold, not able to come through because we are chosen, nine of cups. Okay, so I'm gonna give the read down right now. Okay, we've made a full cycle at the gate. Yeah, so we have that Midas touch. There's something about us that will manifest abundance, but the road's either been sealed or closed or blocked because something wanted to secure a foundation. Something had attached some kind of parasitic energy in our inner parasitic entity in our energy. There's some kind of practitioner out there imposing their will upon us. That's just what this is, unfortunately. But they have been sealed out from access to the higher realm. So they can't use their energetic signature to ascend to the higher realm because of the calling on our life. Regardless of what I said before, there is some type of specific calling on our life for the majority of those watching. And also, this energy is the world of healing since it just came out after the temperance card. So there is some spiritual inheritance. And when we transition from this life into the next one, the afterlife, which is a misnomer, but I'll use that language. We assume a mantle that's very well known. It's been written about for eons, for time immemorial, at least 5,000 plus years. Let's say 4,100 years more. And then again, we are a pure and divine soul. We have powers of creation, which means we're at least a demigod, if not a full level God being. And this is the particular problem. This is what we call the challenge, the crossing, the conundrum, the competition, the cascading, compounding cacophony of karma. There's some type of entity ideology that wants to just pull through, come through, wants to do what's called a raid. It wants to walk all over us, walk us like a dog, drive on us, strike upon us, and wants to advance through the gate. It's not necessarily attack, but it is a raid. And they have been unsuccessful, or their plans haven't been able to get off the ground. If they've had like one little piece of success, it's non-continuous. It's not multitudinous. In fact, they're buckling under the weight of their own karmic causes. Whatever workings, rites, rituals that they're doing are actually adding to their debt spiritually. And upon them transitioning out of the physical into their afterlife, their judgment will at least render purgatory. They're not necessarily going to go to some type of karmic punishment, which you call a cleansing, but they will go through a karmic re-education, which we call I misspoke. They're not necessarily going to Ten of Swords go towards a karmic punishment, what we call a purification. They're going to go towards a karmic re-education, Ten of Wands, which is purgatory, some kind of re-education, purgatory versus damnation. And that's what they get. They get what they get because what they desire the most or what they're passionate about is getting clearance through our energy. They probably want to make it out of some type of karmic life. Ten of Wands is a karmic cycle. So they're on the river Styx using our soul, our energy, entity, ideology, our kind of frequency, energy, vibration in order to make it out of hell. So we are their river Styx. So they need to attach to us to use our energetic signature as a way out of hell. They want clearance from the hell realm. I don't know why we need to know this, but apparently it's relevant. So I'm going to wrap this up, but that's what we are. We are the Vestal fuel fire for their orchestration machination. They have some kind of agenda, strategy, tactic, modus operandi, some kind of intention that they need to use the law of lesser magic. They need us to give consent for them to leave hell. That's what this is. I'm just going to call it what it is. So that's a no. A pure point blank in the story. No, we can keep going, actually. Yeah, because for a long time they've been trying to access our divinity, our energy, whatever the gifts from the heavens are. And also they've been trying to figure out a way to make us five of this is a five of swords, to make us forsake our spirit team. We have some type of agreement, and that's also the rule of lesser magic. They need us to kind of poo-poo on the agreement we made with the divine, whatever covenant we have before we came into the physical life here in this lifetime. They need us to forsake that so that we're actually abandoned or stripped or siphoned or sanctioned. They need so that they can harvest. And they need us to lose some type of lose five of pentacles, to lose, to bankrupt, to debilitate, to deplete, to decline, to destabilize. They need us to lose to all those adjectives I just used are discernment. Also, if they can't, they want to do some kind of breadcrumbing to make us believe that we're cruel or bitter. And because we're a tribute to them. They need to trade places, or they need us to give of ourselves the things that we haven't even developed yet. And that's what this is. We are a portal to the divine, and that's what's up. Okay. So this is what they're going after. They're going after our spiritual power. And they're going to use evil eye or some type of entitlement or toxic personality styles to do that. So they can bind our transition into the higher realm. They want us to not become initiated in this life, and they want to create some kind of terms and conditions for our initiation so they can have us initiate through their autonomy or through their authority, or they want us to initiate into the wrong side so that they have a soul that they won for the dark or for the enemy. And that's basically what we call a dark soul union. And so what we want, kings want, is to defend ourselves. And actually, then this has its back to this, it's already happened. So we've already successfully defended ourselves. And what we don't know yet is that we have sovereignty here. King of Pentacles is what we've manifested now. So we've already gained some type of sovereignty which, without our knowing. And you say how King came out in all three hands. So what we also want is to break out, break free, or we want some type of complete end. We want to cancel something out. And that's the judgment that we have. The thing about dark covenants or spiritual interference is we can command King of Swords that this energy, vacate, banish, purge, forbidden return. And it's because we have sovereignty. Since we're not of the dark kingdom, this is the mouth of God, the eye of God. Basically, we can declare and decree that only beings in alignment with our God's sovereignty can be around. All unclean spirits must vacate at once. They must leave, never to return. Their return is forbidden. They are hereby banished. And that's because we have a spiritual rank, a high-ranking spiritual official. We're of a sacred office, a spiritual office. We've taken some kind of vow or oath of high office. Yeah, it's a fine day. This is not a fine day for some of the people involved. We're almost done here. So that's just what's going on. We need to be aware. We need to have pure, gracious, exalted influence over the entire cycle to realize that this is a karmic lesson for somebody, and they're imposing and projecting their BS, their horse pucky, their malarkey on us. Poor baby, peace be upon you, blessings to your healing. And that's just what they did. They need to trade places with the divine soul. They need to swap heads with somebody that has pure reign, unobstructed reign over the divine kingdom. So what they're trying to do is gain the reins to some type of this is Order of the Cherubim. They're hoping that they can trick us into giving access into the divine realm. We're a protector of heaven, so we can't let them attach. And that's what this is. This is some type of projection. It's projection. So it's projection. Poor baby, I hope you work that out, but your problems are not mine. That's basically where we're at right now. Yeah, so that's the delayed message that we've been getting. We've been having all these messages come in. They're delayed messages. It's because we're about to have full access to the divine kingdom. We made it already. it's just anchoring here in the physical. We're beginning to be informed and instructed. Yep, we've completed some type of cycle, some type of level up. The things that we came into this life to accomplish, maybe we need to manifest those, but we're already in the frequency, energy, vibration of that. Meaning we finally dialed into that frequency on the radio of what's going to manifest our path in this life. Where now the broadcast is going to come through clearly without much static. Yeah, and that's just what that is. We what's called had witness and testimony. See that double three, and especially the ones making use of good. We've had witness and testimony. Okay, of some kind of trespass upon us. Okay, so it's need one hop on need one work. I'm gonna close the gate here because we're fine. We're detached because we're also chosen and nothing can kind of come through. A lot of the reason why messages haven't been shifting and changing is because we needed to acknowledge the fact that we've made it and that the energies, the entities, the ideologies attaching to us right now are trying to make us forsake our own vow, our own oath, our own path, our own calling on our own life. And that's not need going to happen. That's what the work is. That's what the plan is. They need some type of chosen one in order to tribute to the devil. So this is what's behind the veil. This is the veil, Seven of Cups. Behind the veil is homeboy. So, that's our little brother. We need to send him home. It's unfortunate. And I say little brother as in lower vibration, not little brother. The devil is older than us. He's as old as time. Angels were created before creation. So it's been an honor and a pleasure and a privilege to serve. Thank you for allowing me to do so. If anything resonated deeply with you, go ahead and smash that like button. As always, there usually is a link to, yep, it ended on the judgment. There usually is a link to a summary in the show notes. It can come out about 10 minutes after the video is published. So if you look in the show notes and it doesn't say no summary is available for this reading, then it means it'll come if you refresh the video. The link should be there. Okay. Ooh, take good care of yourself. It's been a delight and an honor and a privilege and a pleasure to serve you. Thank you for allowing me to do so. If anything I said resonated deeply with you, remember to like, comment, share, subscribe, leave a review, book a session, send a donation. As always, Vertex of Abundance is the Galactic Temple of Ascension, delivering sacred messages from behind the veil. You can increase the playback speed of the video if it was a little too slow or a little bit too long in length. It'll still say the same length, but it'll actually play a little bit faster, which means you can cut down the speed, the length of the video up to 1/2. Okay. We're going to go ahead and close with a prayer for all those still left out there, lost to see the time, yet to heal, yet to awaken, yet to return to resplendent grace with the divine unconditional love and universal oneness. We love you. We're sorry. Please forgive us. Thank you. We pray that your steps are ordered, your path be illuminated, and that you find salvation and redemption in this lifetime. May you be happy. May you be whole. May you be at peace. May you receive everything you ever wanted, starting with what you deserve. Until we meet again, until we read again, namaste, dandavat, and ashe, sayonara, das vidanya, avida zain, shway shway, mochi mochi. See you in the next one. Take good care. Smash that like button. Bye.